Coming into Edmonton on Friday, Chris Jones was already well in the ditch. After steering the rebuilding Edmonton Eskimos straight down victory lane last year, the club's former head coach and defensive coordinator is having trouble even finding the gas pedal this year in Regina. Of course, it would help if the Saskatchewan Roughriders VP of Football Ops, Graham, head coach and defensive coordinator, didn't continue to overhaul his roster engine mid-race. Never mind about the illegal bodies that had been milling around Mosaic Stadium for a minute. The Roughriders officially came into Friday with 77 players, and counting, who played at least one game for them this year. CFL active rosters hold 46 at a time. So it's an ongoing rebuild. When he first arrived in Edmonton in 2014 as a rookie head coach, he only tinkered with the roster by bringing in a handful of former players and bolting them into a position alongside a group of established veterans who had already been to the point of rock bottom together. Finishing with a 4-14 record a year earlier, the Eskimos were rebounding their way back up, finishing 12-6 with an appearance in the division final before improving the next season to 14-4 and hoisting the 2015 Grey Cup. There are some similarities, but they're two totally different scenarios, Jones said. They had a few more veterans, especially on the defensive side, that had been through it and they had lost the year prior, so it was pretty easy to get them to go in the right direction. The thing is, it should have been every bit as easy to begin turning the Roughriders around, given the 3-15 record they're coming off of. What's even worse, and if defensive veterans were such a concern, Jones has to be questioning his release of John Chick, who was tied for the league lead with 7 sacks coming into this week's slate of games. And given the fact starting quarterback Varian Durant is back after suffering the season-ending Achilles injury in last year's season opener, all signs pointed to at least some sort of turnaround. But even with Durant, Jones and company are barely on pace to match last season's meager win percentage. And with just one win under their belt, then they stepped onto the field at Commonwealth Stadium for Friday's opening kickoff. The question is, how low will they go before the only way left is up? A lot of things go through your head and you try to make sure that you're not wavering from what you knew was right to start with, said Jones. Certainly, you have to have guys that have played together and alongside each other, and we're looking to try to get the continuity again. Finally, we're getting a few guys back off the 6-game injured list, which is good. But unfortunately, we've been in that type of situation. They were starters for a reason at the start of the year, so we're getting them back, slowly but surely, and looking for the continuity. But all teams go through injuries. Jones didn't have Mike Riley for half of last year and got better because of it. By the time he resumed his role as starting quarterback in the Labor Day rematch, the Eskimos didn't lose another game. So Jones went from ending last year 10-0 with the Eskimos to starting this one 1-7 with Saskatchewan, who for all intents and purposes, are starting over from scratch this year. I don't really want to pigeonhole us as to where we are, Jones said. We certainly didn't expect to be in this situation. We're just trying to go 1-0 each week. Turnover time: no team has turned the ball over more than the Roughriders over the first 8 games of the season. And that's not good news for the squad that, at the same time, had only earned the league low 11 takeaways over that same span. Unless you're an Eskimo defense that's been hawking the ball recently, coming up with 5 interceptions in their previous 3 games coming into Friday's game. Every week is an opportunity to get the ball, said Eskimo safety Neil King, who had one of Edmonton's 8 interceptions across their first 8 games, along with a fumble recovery. Whether they throw a lot of interceptions, fumble, put the ball on the ground, we just have the mentality as a defense to go get the ball. 6,000 yards. Riley came into Friday's game on pace for over 6,000 passing yards, the feat only accomplished by 5 CFL quarterbacks, including record holder Doug Fley's 6,619 in 1991. Kent Upton followed up with 6,225 in 92, while Flea 6,092 and David Archer 6,023 both crested the plateau in 93. The last time it happened was the 6,041 Anthony Calvillo threw in 2004, while Riley came into Commonwealth Stadium Friday night needing to average 315.7 yards in his last 10 games to reach 6,000. His career high currently stands at 4,207 during his first year with the Eskimos in 2013.